Have you ever wondered what it truly means to grow older? It's a journey we all face, and while aging is inevitable, how we choose to approach it can make all the difference. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the realities of getting older, what to expect, the emotional roller coaster, and the challenges we may face. But here's the thing, it's not all about wrinkles and gray hair. The changes we experience are far more profound, affecting our mental, emotional, and social worlds in ways we might not always be prepared for. By sticking around until the end, you'll discover powerful stories of people who have faced these challenges head-on and found new ways to adapt. You'll learn about the tough realities, like the physical toll of aging, the emotional strain of loss, and the feeling of becoming invisible in a world that celebrates youth. But more importantly, we'll talk about how to not just survive but thrive as you age. You'll find out how embracing change, adapting to new realities, and finding new purposes in life can transform the aging process from something to fear into something beautiful. If you're looking for inspiration or even just a reminder that you're not alone, this video is for you. So, don't go anywhere. Let's explore this together. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Number 1. The physical toll. As time marches on, the inevitable changes in our bodies become undeniable. It's not just about the wrinkles that slowly creep across our faces or the silver strands of hair that replace the once vibrant hues. No, it's much more profound, far deeper than what can be seen with the naked eye. There's a raw, often unspoken truth to aging that is seldom discussed. The emotional and physical toll it takes, not just on how we look, but on how we feel every day. The simple act of waking up can suddenly feel like a battle, one where your body seems to betray you with its aches, its stiffness, and its limitations. Take Sarah, for example, a woman in her 50s whose vibrant energy once had no bounds. In her younger years, she was an athlete, a force to be reckoned with on the track, running marathons with an ease that seemed endless. But now, as time has passed, Sarah finds herself grappling with the physical fallout of aging. A short jog, a memory of her former self, now leaves her with knee pain, a reminder of the body's fragility. "It's frustrating," she confesses. "I still feel like that runner inside me, but my body just won't cooperate anymore." It's a crushing realization, that disconnects between who we were and who we are now. There's a grief that comes with it, a sense of loss that can sometimes be overwhelming. The passions we once pursued with vigor and excitement now feel distant, like fleeting dreams slipping through our fingers. For Sarah, the battle is not just with her body, but with the overwhelming sense of being left behind, stuck in a body that no longer reflects her heart and soul. But here's the beautiful, often overlooked part of Sarah's journey. It's not just about loss, it's about resilience. It's about adaptation, about finding new ways to continue thriving despite the setbacks. Sarah's story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. She hasn't given up, she's simply redefined what it means to take care of herself. She's turned to swimming, a low-impact exercise that allows her to stay active without the relentless strain on her joints. It's a different path, but it still brings her that sense of accomplishment, that feeling of movement, of vitality. The key takeaway is not just that our bodies will change over time, but that these changes are not the end of our journey. They can be the beginning of something even more profound. We don't have to surrender the things we love. We just have to be willing to adapt, to evolve, and to find new ways to experience the world we so deeply cherish. Through it all, we are reminded that while our bodies may age, our passions, our dreams, and our resilience remain timeless. 2. The social shifts. As we journey through life, the ebb and flow of friendships becomes one of the most profound emotional shifts we encounter. Our social circles, once vibrant and bustling with shared moments of joy and laughter, can slowly fade or transform in ways we never expected. The friends who once filled our weekends with endless adventures may move away, start families, or simply drift into different paths. This inevitable change is something many people find themselves grappling with, and it often stirs a deep sense of loss and loneliness, as if a part of our identity is slipping through our fingers. It's a theme that echoes through countless online forums, where individuals candidly express their feelings of isolation and the heart-wrenching struggle to maintain meaningful connections as they grow older. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take John, for example, a 60-year-old retired teacher whose story strikes a chord with anyone who's ever felt left behind. In his 30s, he had a rich social life, surrounded by friends and colleagues who shared his passions and ideas. But by the time he reached his 50s, he found himself drifting into solitude, with no one left to turn to. "It's incredibly hard," he confided, his voice heavy with the weight of years gone by. "You don't realize how much of your sense of self is intertwined with your social life until it's no longer there. It's like losing a part of yourself that you thought would always be there." Yet, John's story doesn't end in despair. Rather than resigning himself to loneliness, he decided to take action, driven by the hope that he could rediscover his sense of belonging and purpose. He joined a local book club, immersing himself in a new world of conversation and connection, and began volunteering at a nearby animal shelter, where the unconditional love of the animals reminded him of the simple, yet powerful, ways to feel needed and valued. In these small, yet significant steps, John found not just new friendships, but a renewed sense of purpose that reignited his spirit. John's message is one of hope and empowerment. Don't wait for connections to find you. Take the initiative and create them yourself. His journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to rise above loneliness and transform it into an opportunity for growth, renewal, and, ultimately, a deeper connection to the world around us. 3. The emotional roller coaster. One of the most profound and challenging aspects of growing older is grappling with loss. Whether it's the painful passing of a cherished loved one, the crushing end of a long-held job, or the gradual erosion of physical abilities that once defined us, these losses leave deep emotional scars. They strike at the core of our sense of self, often bringing a flood of emotions that feel too overwhelming to bear. It's a topic frequently discussed in online forums, where people from all walks of life openly share their heart-wrenching stories of sorrow, grief, and, in the end, resilience. Take Mary, for example. She lost her husband of 40 years to a long, drawn-out battle with cancer, a loss that turned her world upside down in ways she never could have prepared for. In her poignant words, she revealed how, for the first time in her life, she was forced to confront the terrifying loneliness of solitude. "I didn't just lose my husband," Mary wrote, her grief evident in every syllable. "I lost my best friend, my confidant, the person who stood by me through every storm. I lost the one person who truly knew me inside and out. The one person I had built my entire life with." It was not just the absence of her husband she mourned, but the absence of an entire life. One filled with shared memories, intimate conversations, and quiet moments of mutual understanding. Yet, amid her overwhelming grief and heartache, Mary found a flicker of hope, a glimmer of light emerging from the darkness. She took the courageous step of picking up a paintbrush, embracing a passion she had always dreamed of pursuing but never found the time to explore. It was a small act of reclaiming herself, a way to honor both her past and her future. Slowly, as she submerged herself in her art, she began to heal. Mary also sought connection with others who had experienced similar heartaches, finding comfort and solidarity in their shared suffering. "It's not easy," she admitted, tears still heavy in her words, "but I'm learning, every day, that life can still be beautiful, even after loss, even after all the pieces have shattered. The journey is long, but in the end, there is still hope." Through the darkest of nights, Mary discovered the incredible resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to rise, even when the weight of grief feels unbearable. 4. The mental strain. As the years slip by, we are often forced to face the heartbreaking truth that our minds are not as sharp as they once were. This slow erosion of mental clarity can feel like an insidious thief, stealing away our once quick wit and intellectual dexterity. For many of us, Particularly those who once took great pride in our mental agility, this can be an especially painful and humbling realization. The struggle is real, and it's echoed in countless conversations in online forums, where people of all ages grapple with the overwhelming anxiety that accompanies memory lapses or the relentless pressure to stay ahead of rapidly changing technology. Take, for instance, the story of Tom, a man in his 70s who spent decades as a brilliant software engineer. In an emotional post on Reddit, he shared his frustration with the learning curve of new programming languages. Languages that once came effortlessly to him but now seemed like a foreign tongue. "It's frustrating," he confessed, his words tinged with a deep sense of loss. "I used to be the go-to guy for tech advice, and now I'm the one asking for help." The weight of this shift was not just technical, but deeply personal. The pride he had once taken in his intellectual prowess had been shaken, leaving him vulnerable and questioning his place in a world that had moved forward without him. But despite the overwhelming sadness and frustration, Tom refused to allow this challenge to define him. Rather than succumb to feelings of irrelevance or defeat, he made a courageous decision. He pivoted. He found solace in mentoring younger engineers, sharing the vast reservoir of experience and wisdom he had accumulated over the years. "I may not be able to keep up with the latest trends," he said, his voice steady with quiet resolve, "but I can still contribute in my way." Through his new role as a mentor, Tom discovered that his worth wasn't measured by his ability to keep up with the latest technologies, but by his unyielding desire to pass on the knowledge and insights that only decades of experience could provide. In doing so, he found a renewed sense of purpose, embracing the wisdom of age while acknowledging the heartache of what had been lost. And in this quiet, unspoken victory, Tom reminded us all that even as our minds may slow, our value in this world remains as powerful as ever. 5. The challenge of feeling invisible. One of the most deeply painful and soul-crushing realities that many individuals face as they age is the overwhelming sensation of becoming invisible. In a world that relentlessly glorifies youth, where fresh faces and new trends take center stage, older individuals often find themselves painfully overlooked, disregarded, and silenced. It's an experience that can cut to the core, whether it's in the high-stakes world of professional settings, the casual flow of social gatherings, or even in the most ordinary moments of daily life. Imagine for a moment the story of Laura, a woman in her 60s, whose life and career were once vibrant with purpose and influence. Laura had spent decades in the fast-paced, cutthroat world of corporate life, where she was an active force in shaping decisions, a valued presence in every meeting, and the heartbeat of her team's dynamics. She was always a source of wisdom, her voice commanding attention and respect. But as the years passed, something changed. Slowly but surely, she began to feel herself slipping into the shadows. In meetings, her ideas were dismissed with a wave of indifference, as younger colleagues ignored her contributions, talking over her as if she didn't even exist. "It's like I suddenly became a ghost," Laura confided, her voice trembling with the pain of her words. "I'm still the same person with the same experience and knowledge, but it's as if I've become completely irrelevant, invisible, just because of my age." This feeling of invisibility cuts deeper than just being unheard. It creates an agonizing sense of isolation, an emotional ache that seeps into the very essence of one's being. It's a gut-wrenching blow to your sense of worth, an ongoing whisper in the back of your mind that questions the value you still bring to the table. When you have spent your life contributing, leading, and shaping, to suddenly feel as though you no longer matter can be utterly devastating. The emotional toll of this neglect is not just about being ignored, it's about losing a piece of yourself in the process. Yet, even in the face of this crushing reality, Laura refused to let herself be consumed by it. She chose not to disappear quietly into the background. Instead, she sought out ways to fight back against the erasure of her worth. By stepping outside the traditional confines of meetings, she began mentoring younger employees, sharing her immense wealth of experience and hard-earned knowledge. While it didn't completely erase the sting of being ignored, it breathed new life into her sense of purpose. Through these connections, she regained a sense of visibility, a feeling that she could still make a difference, and perhaps most importantly, she reminded herself of the immense value that time, experience, and wisdom had granted her. 6. Financial insecurity. Financial insecurity is a heart-wrenching reality that looms over many as they age, a heavy burden that can steal peace of mind and suffocate dreams. Despite years of hard work, discipline, and saving for the future, life has a way of blindsiding us with cruel and unpredictable challenges. Health crises that drain savings, economic recessions that shatter security, and family emergencies that demand sacrifices we never anticipated. For so many, the dream of a carefree retirement fades into a distant mirage, replaced by the overwhelming fear of financial ruin. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Take James, for example, a man in his late 50s whose story is as poignant as it is unsettling. He opened his heart about the relentless grip of financial anxiety that has haunted him since his unexpected layoff just a few years before he was supposed to retire. "I never thought I'd be at this age, still losing sleep over how to make ends meet," he confessed, the weight of his words bearing down on his soul. "It feels like the clock is running out on me, and I can't seem to catch up." For James, the relentless pressure is not just about the bills. It's about a deep, gnawing fear that his life's work might not be enough to carry him through his golden years. The haunting worry of outliving his savings, of never being able to afford the retirement he envisioned, has turned his world upside down. The security he once thought was his for the taking has slipped through his fingers like sand. Forced to make painful choices, James had to downsize his life, moving into a smaller home and cutting back on even the most basic comforts. It was a blow to his pride, a humbling reminder that stability can be an illusion, fragile and fleeting. Yet, in this harsh recalibration of his life, James discovered something profound. Amidst the sacrifices, he learned the importance of resilience, the quiet strength to adapt, to find contentment in the simpler things that once seemed insignificant. His journey is a stark reminder that no matter how much we plan, the unpredictable nature of life can leave us vulnerable. But in the depths of that vulnerability, there's also a powerful lesson in finding peace and joy in the midst of struggle. A reminder that we are stronger than we think, even when the financial storms of life threaten to drown us. 7. The burden of care. Aging, with its inevitable physical and emotional shifts, often brings with it a gradual erosion of independence, a reality that can feel like a cruel, silent storm. As health weakens, many older adults find themselves forced into a position of dependency, relying on their loved ones, family members, or professional caregivers to navigate the simplest tasks of daily life. This can be an excruciatingly difficult transition, one that often feels like a profound role reversal, where the vibrant, self-sufficient adult, once able to stand on their own 2 feet, now finds themselves leaning on others for the most basic of needs. It's a heartbreaking process, one that strips away dignity and autonomy and replaces it with an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. Rachel, a woman in her early 60s, bravely shared her personal experience in an online forum, opening a window into the painful and emotionally charged world of caregiving. Her mother, who had been a strong and independent woman in her day, was now battling the devastating grip of dementia. "It's incredibly hard to watch someone you love lose themselves," Rachel expressed, her words dripping with grief and helplessness. "And it's even harder to take on the role of caregiver when you're already feeling the effects of aging yourself." Rachel's voice trembled with the weight of the emotional toll she was bearing. She found herself torn, pulled in opposing directions as she tried to balance the physical and emotional demands of caring for her mother while desperately attempting to preserve her health and well-being. The sleepless nights, the constant worry, the emotional exhaustion, and the relentless physical demands have taken an immense toll on me, Rachel confessed. "I never truly understood how isolating and lonely caregiving could be until I was living it. Sometimes, I feel like I've lost myself. My identity is no longer mine. It's as if I have disappeared in the shadows of this caregiving role." Caregiving, while undeniably a profound act of love and devotion, can also become an oppressive burden that threatens to swallow up the caregiver's sense of self. The physical exhaustion, the emotional strain, and the feelings of isolation can erode a person's spirit, leaving them drained and overwhelmed. In Rachel's case, this emotional weight eventually became too much to bear on her own. It wasn't until she reached out for support, connecting with a local caregivers group, that she began to experience a shift. The group offered not only a source of emotional relief but also practical advice and solidarity from others who understood her struggles intimately. Rachel's experience is a poignant reminder that caregiving, while a sacred and deeply meaningful responsibility, can also be one of the most difficult and solitary roles a person can undertake. However, it also shines a light on the power of community and the importance of seeking support in moments of hardship. Even in our most trying and isolating times, we are never truly alone. Others are walking the same path, and reaching out for help can provide the strength we need to continue carrying on. 8. Estrangement from family. One of the most profoundly painful and emotionally wrenching realities that many older adults endure is the heartbreaking estrangement from family. As children grow, spread their wings, and forge their paths in life, the once close-knit connections can begin to fray. The physical distance between family members often mirrors an even deeper emotional separation, and for some, this isolation grows into a gnawing, soul-crushing void. The absence of family can create a searing ache that feels almost unbearable. Take John, a retired construction worker in his 70s, who shared his deeply sorrowful experience in an online forum. "I hadn't spoken to my son in over 5 years because of a family dispute that spiraled beyond repair," he poured out with raw vulnerability. "I never envisioned my golden years would unfold like this. The deafening silence from someone you once loved with all your heart is a weight I can hardly carry, and the holidays, they're nothing but an empty reminder of what's missing." The estrangement has left John overwhelmed by a profound sense of abandonment, a lingering shadow that clouds his days. Every effort he made to reach out, every desperate attempt to bridge the rift, was met with cold indifference. His heart ached as he replayed the moments where things had gone wrong, where love had turned into distance, and where family, once his greatest source of joy, became a distant memory. This kind of emotional rupture is often one of the cruelest aspects of aging. It's like a vital piece of your soul has been torn away, and the emptiness that remains is almost too much to bear. Yet, amid this overwhelming sadness, John sought solace in an unexpected place, his local community. Through volunteering and forming connections with others who had faced similar heartaches, he began to find a flicker of light. While these new relationships could never replace the bond he lost with his son, they offered him something invaluable: a sense of belonging, of being needed, and a renewed sense of purpose. Though the void in his heart still lingers, John has found that even the smallest acts of connection can ease the ache of estrangement, providing a measure of comfort in the face of profound loss. 9. Facing mortality. As the years pass and we journey further into the later chapters of our lives, we are inevitably faced with the stark reality of our mortality. It's an unavoidable truth, one that becomes more undeniable with each birthday, as we slowly come to the painful realization that the days ahead of us may no longer stretch out as endlessly as they once did. The weight of this truth often hangs heavily in the air, casting a shadow of sobriety and, for many, fear. The thought that we have more years behind us than we have in front can send a chill down the spine, stirring deep feelings of vulnerability and uncertainty about the future. With the knowledge that time is limited, there arises an overwhelming sense of urgency, a desperate desire to seize every fleeting moment, to wring out every last drop of meaning and purpose from the time that remains. Yet, this awareness often gives birth to an all-consuming existential anxiety, a deep-seated fear that our lives may never have reached their full potential. Margaret, an 80-year-old woman who courageously shared her heart in an online forum, spoke with raw honesty about her fears, offering a voice to so many others who silently grapple with the same weight. "I think about death more now than I ever did before," she confessed, her words imbued with vulnerability and truth. "It's not that I'm afraid of dying. It's the fear of leaving things unfinished, of not having done enough." Her words resonate deeply, echoing in the hearts of those who, like her, find themselves wrestling with the ever-encroaching shadow of mortality. The anxiety doesn't stem from the end itself, but from the unsettling thought that there are dreams left unfulfilled, relationships left untended, and passions left unexplored. The crux of the challenge lies in finding a way to live fully, despite the inevitability of our eventual departure. It requires us to embrace the impermanence of life while refusing to let it paralyze us. For Margaret, the path to peace lay in creating something lasting, something that transcends her fleeting existence. She poured herself into writing heartfelt letters to her grandchildren, sharing her wisdom and love in written words that could endure long after she was gone. She meticulously documented her family's history, ensuring that the legacy of those who came before would never be lost. And she sought out joy in the present, filling her days with activities that brought her fulfillment, passion, and connection. These simple yet profound acts gave her life meaning and filled her with a sense of purpose, a reassurance that even though her time on earth is finite, her impact will ripple through the generations. Facing mortality is one of the most heart-wrenching, yet transformative, aspects of growing older. It brings us face to face with the raw, tender truth of our finite existence, urging us to take stock of what truly matters. But in this confrontation with the end, there is also a quiet grace. It has the power to shift our perspective, to help us see beyond the trivialities and distractions of everyday life and to focus on what is truly significant. It inspires us to cultivate deep, meaningful relationships, to pursue our passions with an intensity we may have once thought impossible, and to live with intention, cherishing each precious moment as though it were a gift. And in doing so, we can come to realize that, in the end, it is not the number of years that matters most, but the depth of life we have lived. 10. The technological divide. As the world propels itself further into the digital age, many older adults find themselves caught in a whirlwind of rapid technological advances that leave them feeling overwhelmed and alienated. The complexities of modern gadgets, smartphones, online banking, video calls, can feel like insurmountable mountains for those who never had to navigate such digital landscapes in their younger years. The frustration is palpable, echoing across forums where older adults voice their struggle to keep pace with a world that feels like it's constantly shifting under their feet. George, a spirited 75-year-old who once prided himself on staying ahead of the curve, recalls how things have changed. "I used to be the one everyone came to for tech help," he shares, his voice tinged with disbelief and frustration. "Now, I can't even figure out how to set up my smart TV." This stark contrast, from being the tech-savvy go-to person to feeling like an outsider, is more than just a mild inconvenience. It cuts deep, leaving a trail of emotional bruises. It's a reminder of the fleeting nature of time, of the overwhelming feeling of being left behind as the world around you races ahead. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For many older adults, this technological gap isn't just about struggling with new devices. It's about feeling disconnected from a society that is increasingly reliant on digital communication. It's about being shut out from conversations, events, and opportunities that are now happening in an online space, while they are left standing on the sidelines, isolated and powerless. The once confident person is now a stranger to a world that they can no longer navigate. It's not just the frustration they feel, it's a profound sense of loss. A loss of belonging. A loss of connection. A loss of relevance in a world that's rapidly evolving. Aging is often viewed with trepidation, something to fear, something to resist. But perhaps the real challenge lies not in the physical toll or the inevitable slowing down, but in how we choose to confront it. Yes, aging brings undeniable struggles, pain, loneliness, change, but it also ushers in unparalleled growth opportunities, connection, for joy that we might have once overlooked. It's easy to become fixated on the difficulties of growing older, but if there's one truth I've gleaned from the stories shared by countless others, it's this: aging is not a curse to be avoided, but a beautiful journey to be embraced. Through the years, moments of profound wisdom unfold. Unexpected joys arise in the most unlikely of places. Life, despite its challenges, holds immense beauty. In those quiet moments of reflection, Older adults often discover a sense of peace and clarity that younger versions of themselves could never have imagined. And so, the journey continues, not in fear, but in acceptance. Not in isolation, but in the warm embrace of shared wisdom, connection, and the timeless joy that life, with all its ups and downs, has to offer. As we reflect on the journey of aging and the challenges posed by the technological divide, we are reminded of the power of connection, resilience, and the beauty found in embracing life's changes. From George's struggle to set up his smart TV to the moments of wisdom and joy that come with growing older, we see that aging is not something to fear, but a process to embrace with an open heart. Now, we want to hear from you. What have you learned so far from this discussion? How can you apply these insights to your own life? Comment below and share one thing you've learned today that you plan to bring into your own life. Whether it's a new perspective on aging, a way to bridge the technological gap, or simply embracing the beauty of every stage of life. If you enjoyed this video and found it meaningful, please leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with more thought-provoking content. Together, let's keep learning, connecting, and growing.